Hey guys, and welcome back to Jalen Says. And today we are with Mr. Carl Cochrane. And most people might know him as Mad Scientist. He's a really good guy. He does a lot of things. He's a cinematographer, motion graphic designer. He's a movie video producer. He's everything really. But here to talk more about him himself. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How you doing, Jalen?
Good, good, good. So you do all these things, a lot of things. It's
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
lot. So for the audience that hasn't heard of you or knows you a little bit but doesn't really know you, can you tell us what you do?
So I think there's a saying, jack of all trades, master of none, something of that sort. But yeah, I kind of like naturally got into the whole creative zone, and that allowed me to kind of like venture through the different levels and stages of the creative realm, from, like you said, mainly the arts, from
Uh,
things of that nature. So yeah.
so what got you into the arts? Was it like you just suddenly got pulled into it? Some friend told you?
So what happened was I was in a bad car accident, and
Mm,
um, couldn't do the type of work was telecommunications, security, access control systems, things of that nature, and pretty like um, labor intense, a lot of time, because the accident that I was in wasn't able to perform to my optimum, due to the, and so I was kind of forced to kind of like reinvent myself. I had to kind of like do some soul searching, figure out, what can I get into. And during this time, I knew that I wanted to do something purposeful. And so when I thought about getting into the arts, I started to kind of like just meditate on the main aspects, and film and video production kind of came to mind, um, mainly because I saw like how the industry was influencing our communities, our youths, adults alike, and I figured, I could get in and create some content that would make a difference in people's lives.
uh, so what was your first love with the entertainment industry?
Um, so the way I got in was doing music videos was kind of like my first introductory into shooting video and editing, and even doing some motion graphics and things of nature. And so as I ventured into doing some music videos, I'm not gonna lie, like, some of my first clients weren't ideal, um, because their content. And I remember speaking to a friend, and I told him, I was conflicted because, you know, it was, because of me getting into the industry, not really having or knowing where to start. Um, Music videos was that start. And he influenced me. He said, just trust God, trust what He's doing. Things gonna work out and turn around. And so I did. I forged forward. Some of my clients were mainly rappers, and so I would excuse me, I would kind of like speak to them about changing their content, their points of views, and how they could take their artistry and their expressions to another level. And so I found joy in doing that because I was able to, speak to them in a positive light and influence them. And, we developed, great bonds. And so I kind of saw like how, having an interest in the arts and, being an influence, came hand in hand. So, that was a good journey for me.
Wow. So, with all you do, what is your main joy with your career?
Um, hmm, I kind of feel like they all work together. Because as I was shooting these videos, it also created an opportunity for me to create scenes, um, not just people dancing and all those sorts of things. I was able to create some storylines, so that gave me a hand in some writing, directing, and so when it comes to what's my favorite in it, um, I'll say because I've had to do all of these play all these different roles. It kind of morphed into one, and for me, it was almost like I couldn't do one without the other. But I love filming because there's an art to it, and I definitely love editing because editing helps to create the story. It gives me control on how I want the final product to be. So I can't really say per se there's a favorite because I enjoy every aspect from, creating this, CD covers to movie covers to, sometime, creating artwork that I would either animate or things of that nature in there. So it gives me, opportunity to kind of like not live in a monotony type sense, just stick with filming. It gives me opportunity to dive in these different, fields within entertainment and filming. And so, it's like once I'm done with one job, here comes another
Yeah.
job. I don't even call it a job. I call it creating. I don't like to use it as a job because I feel like that takes the fun out of what I'm doing. So,
Wow. So, how long have you been doing this?
um, I started back in, honestly, I'll say 2008, 2009.
Wow.
Um, but that was mainly because I had a record label and I owned a lounge at the time. And so, when I had my lounge, I had, some pretty good artists come through. And, I was able to sign them to my label or do work with them, to help, create a lane for their career. And so, starting back in 2008, it was mainly on the music side, helping artists curate, you know, what their journey is going to be in the industry. And then that was kind of short lived because the artist, I had the artists. I was able to get them to open up and perform with Rick Ross when he first came out, Pretty Ricky, some well known names, and except for artists. So after they would get off the stage and things of that nature, their ego just grew, and sometimes they did a lot. I'll just put it like that. But that segued me into saying I still want to stay in the industry. So I picked up the camera for a little bit. I'll say 2009, 2010. But I was still, like trying to find myself a
Mm.
little bit in that. And, I'll say it was like 2012 when I decided to go full fledged with it because I realized it was bigger than just doing music productions, things of that nature, you know what I'm saying, with artists.
Wow. So, back in 2019, 2009, 2008, what was your lounge for? Was it just solely music? Was it a music bar? Was it?
My lounge was pretty much I wanted it to be different. I didn't want it to be just a place people came to hang out. I want people to kind of like feel an essence of some type of pride about themselves. So, I did a lot of live band. to try to, get the community to live music and what that felt like. Um, I had some known comedians open up, and I was able to bring, you know, one aspect of entertainment and the level more locally, so people could enjoy life a little bit better. So yeah, it was more of a place for people to kind of like enjoy life and get away a little bit.
So do you still have a lounge today?
No, I don't. That lounge was short lived too. My business partner was all over the place. I put it like that. And so I think I opened up the lounge in 2008. Around 2009, close to 2010 is when the lounge dissolved.
So what did you think you were going to be before?
Ah, that's a good question. Um, I had a lot of interest in, um, I'll say like the technical, um, electronics type side of things because I was good with my hands. I loved the way, um, electronic devices worked and functioned, how they roll. So um, I knew I was kind of like leaving myself open
Yeah.
that path. To see what it would be. Um,
So what was your first experience getting into like technology, I guess geeking out or something like that?
um, so my first experience started as a kid. I bought like broken radios or my remote control cars didn't work anymore, so I would take the motors out, create, build like what I thought was like it never took off, but the motor spins, so you could pillow work and everything like that. From there, um, I was kind of just growing as a kid, and I joined the military when I was 19. And, um, I so that gave me a broader aspect of how electronics works. Just opened me up to that whole world of the basics. Like, I'm saying, like it was awesome for me. Yeah.
So how was you said military, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
How was your experience in the military? Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you. You're welcome very much. You're welcome. So the military was fun. Had some growing to do because I entered young, so I was getting into learning myself and manhood. As far as servicing or serving, my first duty station was in Panama, and after training and everything, I got to put though that training to use, in the field. I did so well in the military that actually they took me out of telecommunications and put me on special duties with like generals, ambassadors, and I kind of like escorted them and things of that nature. So, and then once in a while, they would send me on missions, which we call real world missions. I would go on these different deployments to, like, there was a time a national guardsman was doing a mission in Costa Rica, and one of one of the boats.
I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick, but do you have an earpiece? One of my guests is saying it's kind of going in and out for them. So do you have like an earpiece or headphones that have a mic for you to like?
How about now? Is that better? I
No,
no, I don't have an earpiece on me right
okay.
now. Yeah,
It
sorry.
sounds a little better though. It sounds a little better.
Okay, yeah, I just had it on a napkin, so that probably kind of like interfered some of the audio.
Right. So can you resume what you're talking about with the military?
Oh yes, yes, yes. So one of the missions I went on was to Costa Rica, and this was to try to recover, the body of the guardsmen that they feared drowned, and I provided communications from that site back to home base.
Wow.
And so yeah, so I went on missions like that. Also went on medical missions, which we went to um, deliver medical supplies and went with medics to treat um, local natives of different countries. And again, then I supplied communications for that mission as well.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty.
No, it was a great experience in time. Sometimes we look at these TV shows and we see people on these different missions doing different things, and I had the opportunity to have that experience. So it was definitely enjoyable serving time.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So did you have like a military-esque laptop that you're using to like?
Um, Actually, so I came in as multi-channel, and multi-channel was like providing communications and communication links for different units in different areas of a deployment. So, but when I'll say graduated into doing these special missions, they gave us different types of communication equipment. So, like I carried a suitcase that you open up, it's kind of like a laptop and everything. Not quite, but you open that up along with a antenna that looks like an umbrella. You collapse it, open it up, and then
So you
have
had the full spike it.
yeah, pretty much, pretty
Wow.
much, pretty much. And you know, it, to see that I'm in the military, but when I'm doing communications, I have direct line into AT&T. So it's like having, back then it was like the bulky version of the mobile phone.
Wow.
So yeah,
Crazy how people these days can now just do it with like a 5-inch thing.
right, right. I mean, I saw how that evolved. I'm not sure if you ever saw like the phones from back in the days with the
Yeah.
rotary and stuff like that. So I got to see it evolve from that to we called multi-channel or not so much multi-channel. It was digital communications, and that was the start and the springing of using mobile devices. Our cell phones back in the days was like carrying like a little lunchbox with a cord on it,
Yeah.
connected to the phone. You know what I'm saying? But I saw the transition of all of these things to the flip phone and to the iPhone, which I have now. So yeah,
Did you have the old mobile phones, like the brick phones, the ginormous brick
yes,
phones?
yeah, yeah.
And I that was probably like like I don't know how it was, but was that like the coolest thing
It
back in
was it was it was the coolest thing. It's like it's kind of like what people do with like the newest iPhone or Samsung. They like to whip it out
the
and use all the options and stuff like that. So for me back then it was like walking around with this brick and everywhere I went.
like,
I-
oh wait, you're calling from like a string? Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, it's like I'm talking to a caveman. Like I got the antenna now, so I'm higher up. I'm higher up. No.
that and it was like some of it was showing off because it was the latest thing to have. So you're making phone calls even though you have nothing to talk about, just for people to see you on, on the phone. Yeah,
Like,
so.
are you holding a brick up to your? No, it's my new phone, bro. Look at this thing, man.
Right, but it's developed and changed a lot, which is cool. That's why I say just being in the industry of electronics was definitely entertaining for me as well too. And a joy to be a part of.
So, what happened after the military? Like after,
So after I got out the military, um, is trying to make that transition from what is an organization to real world, and it's a totally different you know energy, totally different experience, because everything was organized in the military. Coming out into the civilian world to implement those things, it was like night and day for me, because the civilian sector wasn't as disciplined as in the military sector. And when I say discipline, I don't mean like, drill sergeants in your face and everything. It was just more organized,
like more structure? Like
more
you're gonna
structure.
do this day.
Yep.
People are
Yep.
doing this way, so you already know not to go over there.
Right, right, right. So, and, and it was a little challenge for me. I felt like a lot of times, even the jobs that I applied for, um, I felt like a lot of times I was overqualified. And so, you think about people having a hard time getting a job because they don't have the skill set. Um, it was opposite for me. It was like having the skill set plus more, but it was like, I don't know, like overkill for them. You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up having to take, a job installing alarms, surveillance systems, things of that nature. And, even that experience, it was like they were pretty much telling me I was like overqualified. But I got to a point of saying, I'll start anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
It was like decline from like all the action you were in there and all the like structure, everything going this way, everything going that way.
Yep.
You're perfect at what you do. You know at this. It's pretty challenging, but I
Right.
mean, you could
Right.
do it. So,
Right.
and then you're
Right.
going into this stuff where it's just like take a call, pass it on.
Right. Well, with this particular company, I started at $10. At that time, that's like around 99, I think it was 98, 99, and I worked my way up quickly because aside from the skill set I had doing communications, I understood structure, understood how to climb up the ladder. All the jobs that I did were, very, well done, high proficiency. And even that became kind of a challenge because my supervisor was asking me, what am I doing? That, all these customers are calling them, just asking for me specifically. And, you know what I'm saying? So it, I think he told me, um, it was so overwhelming for him. He was like,
Wow.
I have to tell the clients that, we have other workers except for Carl. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of odd for me because, again, when you instructor so much, the military, kind of awards you by promotion or giving you, different jobs and opportunities. Where in the civilian sector, there seemed to be, it was challenging for them because, they felt like I was going to take their job or something like that. Their top technicians didn't want to work with me because I was just too proficient. I guess it was a reflection of, their performances or whatever the case is. I felt like a lot of times they were intimidated. I remember also too, I went to get certified in the industry, and one of the owner's son called me in the office and asked me what made me want to, go get certified. But it was more like a grilling, a grilling session than a great job, or what I'm saying, we could use things like that. So yeah.
So it's like they're afraid because you're really good at this because you were doing stuff way more advanced. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah. So a lot of time, man, we feel like you know reaching for the stars and being all you could be is should be what we set out to do. But again, in the civilian world with the different temperaments of people, they don't understand like you're not doing it because it's a threat. You're doing it because you kind of like was groomed into that type of structure and organization. You know, so
So after that, that's when you switched over to motion and graphic and
yeah, 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 yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Big thing. Like military, off like social communications and stuff like that.
Right.
Graphic designer, producer, director, photographer. Like wow.
Yeah, I mean, having that background kind of gave me a discipline to, when I focus on something to accomplish it, not just do it, but, do it well and always leave myself open to learning more. And that's one of the things I take through life is, I don't ever want to come across like I know everything. I know I have these various titles and things that I do, but I do it because a lot of times it's needed to fill in the gaps. And, I'm first generation entrepreneur. So, a lot of learning curves, but a lot of things I had to do myself to fill in the blanks to get done what was needed.
So what you learned in the military does it really help you with what you're doing now? Well,
Um,
besides technology, obviously, but like with
yes, definitely from the technical aspect. And yes, from, the organizing, the ability to work with other people as a team. Like all of those skills and experiences, helped, in grooming my career and my skill set in this industry.
so what were your trials and hardships during your times in this industry and just in general? Because I know when you left the military, it was just like all kind of boring and stuff. But besides, even before the military, like what was your trials in life and in work?
Um, I'll say the journey mainly for me was figuring out who I am, my purpose. Um, and yes, I had some life experiences that, sometimes you don't think is the greatest, but it shows you how to be a flexible and adapt in life. And so, finding my way um, as an individual, as a young man in this world, came with a journey of having to, kind of like learn a lot of things myself. My father, he was always working. He didn't, we didn't live together, but I would visit him. Um, but I didn't have that structure as far as, grooming, as far as, being a man, young man, um, certain aspects and outlooks in life. And so, in my growing and in my experiences, that too came along with, you know, finding myself, as far as career wise, skill set wise. So I kind of walk both of those journeys simultaneously, you know.
So what motivated you through well and kept you through what the trials and things you had before?
Um, Hope to help make this world better. You know, I purpose stood in front of me all the time. I didn't want to just be doing things just to be doing it. I wanted to be able to impact people's lives and help make a difference. Help them navigate through life as well, even as I was navigating. And sometimes we could see things better from the outside than what we could see on the inside. And so, having that ability, I definitely impacted a lot of people's lives. And so, in doing this, the arts and the creative side of things, it allowed me to help people tell their stories, build their dreams. You know what I'm saying? Because arts is everything. You got that wonderful poster of yourself behind you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I look at everything. Like having this gift um, helps beautify the world. It helps to help people translate their stories, even if they might not be able to shoot and edit. That you know they could paint and they could draw, right? Um, and like I said, that the picture behind you adds an essence to you know your um, your cast and everything like that. And so that's how I look at everything. You know, bringing the arts and creativity to the world.
So, what got you into graphic designing? Because you're talking about the graphic behind me, but what got you into graphic designing, artistic element?
I drew as a kid. Um, I remember in third grade, I drew this picture of a young boy playing soccer, and that kind of won me like first place, in a drawing contest. And when I saw that, I saw my strengths. I saw something that I could do and feel proud about. And so I continued drawing. And then as I got into high school, I did architecture, another visual aspects of, seeing shapes and, different designs in the world and knowing that you have the influence and the power to be a part of that, you know? So,
So, how do you rate that drawing you did as a child now? Like, if you think about it, I'm not sure if you have it anymore, but if like think about it,
um, um, as I was talking about it and everything, and I could see it in my head, I'm proud of it. I felt like, wow, to be that age and draw to that fine detail is definitely a skill, definitely a gift. And so, it's things like that that's foundational enemies that, we can create, something from nothing. And that was one of those moments, that I found myself that I can do something like that. And so that was like my motivation from then on.
yes. And earlier at the beginning of the interview, you said you also do animation too.
Yes. Also motion graphics. I went to school for animation. I didn't quite finish. Had some, you know, life events happen, and but yeah, I do what we call motion graphics, and it's still animated, but it's not as far as animated as far as a cartoon that you might see on TV or things of that nature. It's just taking objects and adding mobile graphic parts to it to cause it to cause it to move and shift and do all these type of things instead of just being a static image.
Wow. So you've always been into arts, technology, everything. So what about photography? You're a photographer. So what got you into photos?
Ah man, did that too when I was young. My mother had a friend, and he would take us to the park, and he would take pictures of us and things of that nature. I guess he was grooming and developing himself. And when I saw what you know the camera did, I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. And I remember that he gave me a camera. I didn't use it for a while. I think it was when I got closer to high school that I pulled it out. Um, Back in the days, we used film, and so I bought some film, put it in there. I would take pictures. Some will come out dark, some will come out, not focused. But you know, um, trial and error just kept me just, you know, mastering and looking at the camera, and that too showed me what I was able to create. Because we all got different eyes. So yeah, I say kind of like as a youth, I started developing that skill as well too.
Wow, it's like you just came out the womb with like drawing in hand, picture
I
picture
think
of your mom. You didn't even see her yet. You just like had it out already.
right. So I could say, you know, God knew what He was doing. He kept me, or he definitely kept me, but he exposed me and gave me the opportunity to have these different experiences. And I didn't know that I'll be doing photography today. I didn't know that I'll be shooting film today. It was definitely something I was interested as a kid, but it's not one of those things that your family members groom you to say, "Hey, this could be a career." It was back then. It was you could be a doctor, or you could be, a police officer,
A
or
lawyer, a
right,
fireman.
right. It was just all of those, same careers, and having experiences in life brought me back to the creative side because God said your gifts will make way, and that's what it's been doing for me.
So how'd you get into motion picture cinema?
Cinematography.
Yeah.
Um, so like I said, doing the music videos, um, gave me the outlet to you know not know that I just not taking the camera up and just following people dancing and stuff like that. I just knew I wanted to do something different, so I started to incorporate storylines and story formats, in the music videos to tell a story, and that gave me the opportunity to, you know, um, teach myself, and you know, um, went through a lot of YouTube University to learn camera angles. You know, then you figure out, well, why my picture doesn't look like this, and you realize it because you don't have lighting, and then you start to develop the eye and quality sense of what you would like it to look like. So the music videos and things of that nature kind of like allowed me to practice those skills.
So it wasn't even like a passion really. It was just like it kind of like happened.
I could say it was a passion. I could say that it all did just kind of happen. Cause like I said, that accident, took, put my life in a whole different twist. And excuse me, thank you. And again, it was the aspect of creating stories and knowing that you could create a right story or tell the right story that can influence somebody, teach somebody, um, you know, heal somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so I could say it was a passion. It was just a burning passion that would develop over time.
So are you like a screenwriter, scriptwriter, director?
I have done some screenwriting, yes. In fact, I'm helping a good friend put together a script now, and so what that has done, it has allowed me to go back to YouTube University to just check out some different techniques for writing, how to format the script, you know, and things of that nature. So I could say that that's something more and more that I'm getting into because I anticipate creating, my own film project. So I know that at least having the skill set will help me to curate that. So yeah.
Right. So you talked about accent earlier. Does that have anything to do? Because on a recent post, I saw you had a cast on.
No. So you said on a recent. So that just happened um, December 31st. That just passed. I was visiting my son in Texas. we would go to the gym, but this particular time, um, you know, he asked if I want to shoot around. I figured, you know what, I'll shoot around, warm up a little bit, then get into doing the calisthenics and weightlifting and things of that nature. But a group of other individuals asked if we want to play a quick pickup game, and so I did, and that's how I ended up injuring my leg. I had a ruptured Achilles tendon, fully ruptured. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So that was the recent injury that I just have, and I'm still healing from that. You know, definitely a weird experience, but you know, God still did some work in between that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
So you said you have a son. Is he into the same area that you're in?
He shot with me. He do have an interest. He's in the medical field, so he's doing like medical research and things of that nature. But on hindsight, um, he've expressed how he wants to be able to do both, and definitely dive into, shooting films with me and creating films, again, tell make differences, tell good stories and things of that nature. So I've had my son on set with me. He shot with me. I've had my daughter with me. She's also, have came on set and helped me shoot some scenes and things of that nature. So, my goal was to create a company that will open doors for my kids, have a foundation for them, as well as others, who has interest in, the creative space as well.
All right. So I also saw you had two grandchildren. I'm not sure how many have you, but you have. I saw you had a grandson and a granddaughter, right?
Yes, I have actually three grandchildren, two granddaughters, and a grandson. Yeah, so I'm a proud granddad.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yep,
How does
yep.
it feel to be a granddad?
Um, it's a blessing. So it's like giving new life, from a different perspective, and it's like enjoying that youthfulness again. So it's definitely a blessing. It warms my heart. It keeps me motivated. Um, yes, it's so many words, great words I could use, but it's definitely a joy and a gift.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So, with your grandchildren and children and well, everyone around you, what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, again, I'm first generation entrepreneur, and so um, I want to influence my kids to know that they have what it takes to be anything that they want to be. They don't have to, follow my footsteps, but to influence them to follow their dreams and their passion, and to be a pillar in the community. Definitely to help others grow. I believe that's a great blessing, and I take that whole model with me everywhere I go. From film projects to dealing with clients, is how can I help someone? How can I, you know, um, help somebody to elevate? To heal. So you know, I can't say I have a specific legacy, but I just love helping people.
Yeah.
So
Wow. So, what is the hardest part about helping people and doing what you're doing?
the hardest thing can be, um, every individual is different, and that's something to keep in mind, and to treat each person as an individual, and to understand that these individuals have had different life experiences, And so what may have worked with one individual may not exactly work with the other individual. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just always, having me to stay open minded, to be compassionate, um, to be in a place of, like I said earlier, learning life from a bigger, broader, perspective and aspect. And so when you think about creating a legacy, you're talking about you will constantly be in the public eye or exposed to the public, and to be conscious that each person is an individual with different experiences, different um, gifts, talents, points of view, perspectives. You know, sometimes I've dealt with people, um, who's hurt in life, and expect that every day of their life. And some of these people have been doing this for so many years, and so it takes a lot of patience to help people unwind. It takes a lot of patience to allow the other person to grow, even through their mistakes. And being exposed in that manner exposes you sometimes to be a target. You know, sometimes for people to take advantage of you, to be misunderstood. You know, and sometimes misunderstand people. So I take all of this as a learning platform, because if we want to help people, we have to be flexible to the variations of these experiences, gifts, purposes, things of that nature. And it, kind of like softens your heart and your soul, and like I said, gives compassion, to understanding, the variety of people, and who they are as individuals. So
So, what keeps you going from day to day?
helping people. It brings me joy. I feel a sense of accomplishment that I've helped someone to get to a place that they want to be. And it's not just in this industry. It's just anywhere in life. That I could be an influence and a motivator, and show them that we can go through things, because I've gone through things. And but to show them, this is the result of learning that the things we go through sometimes is designed to help and shape us and teach us things, and understand life more. So I wake up every morning. I love to share the word, with my friends, people. um, Love to pray. My relationship with God is like a vast, you know, ever growing adventure. And so I'll get to look at all these things as an adventure.
That's fine. So, do you have a motivational person for you? Like someone that inspires you?
Um, I've come across a variety of individuals that inspire me, and again, it could be even infant. I leave myself available to learn from a child to the oldest individual. So I've worked with celebrities. They've influenced me in a variety of different ways. I've met professional people, and I just take, you know, the essence of who they are to have an opportunity to learn from them, whether it be challenges or, their successes. And if I was to say who influenced me the greatest, I would say it's Jesus. Yeah.
So, what is your main goal? Like, What do people want to say this guy accomplished? What do people want to say? What do you want people to say mad scientist accomplished?
Um, that I did my part in helping this world to be a better place. Um, as I navigate through life, that I shared in the process. Um, I shared my trials, I shared my successes, but it was all to help influence people and to motivate people. And so, and I would say bring people closer to God, because I feel like that's the most peaceful, loving place a person could be for healing, for love. Because sometimes we look outside of ourselves, or we might judge our experiences and keep ourselves in a limited space. But um, yeah, I just love to share. I feel like we are a gift to one another, so I would want people to remember me as being a gift, to others.
All right. Well, I thought about it just now. We talked about all the things that you do, all the incredible things you do. And
Yes.
we don't talk about the company that you do it through, which is Mad Scientist Productions. So, can you tell the audience about that?
Um, well, I got my name Mad Scientist because I had to teach myself, all these variety of things. And Ma- Mad Scientist Productions, I would say is my second company I built. My first company I built was called Launchpad, and that's when I had the artists and the label and things of that nature. But Mad Scientist Production was a platform I created again for my kids and my kids' kids and anybody in my family to say they have opportunity to be a company, something that's a family business. Um, but it's not limited to that. I created it because um, I wanted to help curate any other creatives and artists to know that they have a platform, called Mad Scientists, that, everybody that's a part of it is a mad scientist in their own realm. And, a mad scientist in a great way, in a happy way. A lot of people are like, you don't seem like a mad scientist. Even my mother was like, why you went with mad scientist? Because they're thinking mad as that word. But, you know, um, mad in the urban sense means like extreme, um, vast, different, what I'm saying? A lot of energy. And then the scientist part is like there's no boxes to really put any of these things that we do or who we are, to to kind of like limit us. So I want to create a platform that people could be happy to be a part and know that they're not restricted, and they could express themselves, and that the main mission is to make a difference in the world.
So, when you're not being a mad scientist with what you're doing, what do you do on the day-to-day basis, like hobbies?
um, so there's some things I want to get back into. I played the guitar a little bit when I was in the military for a short period of time, but I love music, so I love to listen to music and beats and sounds. you know, I also recently thought about getting back into painting, but just being in this whole creative space is like it's just free. I feel like I'm doing what I love, even not planning to. you know, so just creating and speaking to people. I love to have great conversations with people. So yeah.
So, I heard that you and your son normally, when you go visit your son, you guys work out, go to the gym, hit the gym, do your reps, all that stuff. So,
Right.
what's your health regimen?
You said what? I'm sorry.
Your health regimen, like what's your workout regimen, your
Oh,
eat
so I love to stay fit. Um, Health is wealth. The other thing I adapted aside from just working out is I've changed my diet. I'm vegan, and that has worked very well for me. Um, um, it helps with just how I feel every day. Because it makes a difference in and out, and I could tell that just from when I changed my diet. So yeah, my diet every day is something I'm conscious about. I don't eat, any junk food. Um, Candy is like, might be like a once in a blue moon thing, like once a year. Haven't drunk any soda in many years. Excuse me.
no
And
club soda, no
no,
ginger ale.
no ginger ale. And ginger ale used to be my favorite thing. You know,
Wow, man.
it used to be my favorite thing, but that too. Um, even people might feel like it's a healthier drink, and just really just depends where it's manufactured from and how it's manufactured.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just artificial flavoring, like
Artificial sugar, artificial flavoring,
yeah,
artificial chemicals.
like like ginger ale was so much of a favorite drink of mine out of all the sodas that when I would go to different restaurants and stuff like that, they wouldn't necessarily have it. But I found out that the way that they make ginger ale is taking 7 Up and Coke and mixing it together. And it tastes like ginger ale for some reason.
Um, I might want to try that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I learned that one day at a restaurant. I was like,
And you're just like,
yeah, I was like, I didn't see ginger ale on the thing, after I asked for it, but I asked them, how they made it. And it was like 7 Up and Coke. I was like, wow, and it tastes
no
like
ginger. You're supposed
no,
to add ginger to ginger ale.
right, no ginger in the ginger ale.
Like you like talk to the like one of the waitresses about that. Like, wait, ginger's supposed to be in ginger. Man, you should see the way we're making it back there, then, bro.
Right. So, but it's those things that made me conscious of what I was putting in my body. That our minds could be tricked, and they put so many different things in our food to trick our minds, to make us addicted to things, it's so much science that goes into the food that is sometimes not even food.
Don't forget what Coca-Cola was used to be made of.
Right, that part too.
Yeah.
That part.
I bet every time you just walk past the water aisle, the ginger ale's just looking at you like, we used to hang out. We used to be friends.
We used to be besties.
But now you switched up on me,
Right.
drinking water.
Right. Yep. So,
So, do you like do any like coding on the side or anything like as a hobby, or is just like something you are more interested in?
you said coding,
Yes.
like different coding languages for like computer and different things of that nature, or
Yeah, I guess stuff like that.
um, I tried it a little bit. Um, when I was in the military, I took a class Pascal. I believe that was coding, or whatever the case is. But no. But interestingly enough, there's some programs that you could do coding in for editing and things of that nature. I just never went about it in that sense. I know in Premiere, I mean in Adobe with After Effects, for some of the effects you can write code in it and it would animate or do different things. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Imagine like someone asks, "Can you like take 10 seconds off this video?" You pull up Python, just type like
right,
basically a 300-word essay, and like done.
right. And that seems to be where it's going now anyway with this whole AI, era that's going on, um, which is interesting. You know, yeah.
So, do you cook? Because I heard you're a vegan. You said you're a vegan before, but do you like make your own vegan dishes, stuff like that?
Yes, I do. I make
Oh,
my own vegan dishes, and even before I went vegan, like cooking was an art for me. It was definitely something I love to do, um, because it was like healing to people. It made people feel good. It was a love gesture. It was a love language. So when I had a chance to do it, I always cooked with love. I was intentional about every dish that I made, from the rice to the mains to the sides. Like all of these things for me. I would even prefer to get fresh lemons and make fresh lemonade. And I
wow,
felt like all of these things created an essence of showing love, and when people would eat it, they felt it. You know, um, so yeah, definitely a language, a love language, definitely a gift. So yeah.
So, what's your favorite dish that you made? Even if it's like containing meat, you don't eat it anymore. But what's your favorite dish that you made?
Um, baked ziti. Um, love to make baked ziti. It was one of those things that you still use, you know, some nice vegetables and everything like that, but I would cook and saute the meat to give it its own flavor. Like every part of that dish for me was important for it to have its own life and its own energy. And whether you ate the vegetables out of the lasagna, it was like, wow, this is great. Whether you ate the pasta out of it, it was like, wow, it's great. Whether you ate the meat, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever aspect, like it was important for me to treat each one of those things with like, good care and attention. So baked ziti is one of those things that I love to make, and I was able to create a vegan version of that. So, which for me it was like even better. So,
Wow. So, like, I'm just looking through the comments that people left right now, and two people were just talking about the brick phones back in the old days.
oh yeah, yeah, they could relate.
Yeah. Did yours cost like 10 cents a second too?
Yeah, man. Like when I got that phone bill, I was like, "What's going on?" Like,
Like, like we were just talking about the latest football game. What happened? Like,
right? I didn't expect a couple $100 phone bill from it, but yeah, that was one of the things too that they, over time worked out, because now you have unlimited. But back then it was like every second count.
wow.
Yeah,
So, what was your favorite thing from, I guess, retro time that you miss now?
man, just being outside, playing a variety of just games. You know, whether it be football, two hand touch, to jumping rope, to playing hide and seek, um, to just tumbling. It was like a very wholesome time and moment. In comparison to now, it's like you don't see much kids out engaging in a lot of outdoor activities unless it's organized with like football and stuff like that. But back then, you could go from jumping rope to playing two hand touch to like you had a whole eventful day. And it was fun. Everybody enjoyed themselves. It was wholesome. It's not what it is today with all this balance and different other influences. So definitely that part I miss a lot, because that's how we found out who we were, by engaging with each other and finding out what we were good at, and you know, being young and youthful and playing and running up and down, and you know, yeah.
Wow. Well, I just noticed that we're like 4 minutes over, but we have one more question from the audience member saying,
Okay.
"Will you publish a cookbook?"
Hmm. I thought about that. I did. Because I think it would be a good um tool, a good um option for people to know and understand. I'll probably make it more interactive as far as um, not just what you're eating, but how that dish can make a difference in your life. From healing to having a clear mind to feeling good on the inside. So mine will probably be a little bit more interactive, a little bit more creative and different, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. All right. Well, we're actually a little bit over time, but thank you for staying this long. Honestly, thank you for letting me interview you. And before we get you off, can you tell the audience where they can find you, where they can follow you, your
Yeah,
website, stuff like that?
yeah, sure. Um, on Facebook, it's the only antidote, or that's the email connected, but it's Mad Scientist. Or you can follow me on Mad Scientist Production on IG. It's the only Mad Scientist, and to see what I got coming up or what I'm working on, my website is Mad Scientist with a S Productions with a S.com.
Oh wow. All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Jalen. Like, I love what you're doing. I love your platform. I too think that you're awesome, brilliant, vibrant, intelligent young man. You know what I'm saying? And I thank you for creating this platform for more people to get exposed to both you and I, just to grow and build a network. So I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your platform, and thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll stay tuned even more with you. So thank you very much.
Yes. And we have actually, this is a really short question, so I hope you don't mind answering it. But
No, I
what
don't.
it asks, how long have you been vegan?
Um, I'll say I've been vegan now probably a year, maybe a little bit over. I was pescatarian at first. I winged myself off in my diets. I went from beef to, instead of beef spaghetti, I started doing turkey. From turkey and chicken, I just kept with fish. From fish, I just transitioned over to vegan. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. And can you stay in the link while I do my outro?
Say again?
Can you stay on the link while I do my outro?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me, Jim. I appreciate it.
Yes. And thank you to the audience out there in the audience. Thank you, Mr. Mad Scientist, for being a guest here. And guys, next week, there's going to be something really special. Now, if you have seen my Facebook, you would know that a movie that I kind of starred in, not to brag or anything, but it's going to be on the Atlanta Film Festival, and it's going to be in, 7 days. It's going to be this Thursday. So I'm not going to have an interview next Thursday. But guys, please, there's going to be a link on my Facebook about all the stuff about it. There's going to be a lot of information about it. So actually, it's not on my Facebook. It's on my mom's Facebook. Stuff's getting situated with my Facebook. The Jalen Says Facebook will have a lot more stuff on it, a lot more stuff and other things like that. So also stay tuned for more stuff because I've been in a lot of events recently and there's a lot of footage for it. So make sure you stay tuned. Go to the Jalen Says Media. Yeah, Jalen Says Media Facebook because there's going to be a lot more videos, a lot more new stuff. But yes, if you do go onto the Just Cat Facebook or Cat Cole's Facebook, there would be information about the Atlanta Film Festival, which kind of had the movie that I was starring in as a poster for it. So that was pretty cool. I didn't even know about that. Thank you so much. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I want to see the audience react and stuff. But thank you guys, and just stay tuned and really appreciate you. And guys, if you look down there, we're actually at 555 subscribers. So hey, thanks. Thank you so much. So guys, just I really appreciate it. Stay tuned.